you check the children? Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil, Laird, here to do another TV series review that we've been meaning to get to for a while now, but just never got around to it. I know Fuego was interested at one point. I think Robert was interested at one point, but we, with as much as we've been wanting to catch up on recently, we've had to prioritize. So I'm the one that prioritized this, and that is season 1 of The Terror. And that is based on the book by Dan Simmons. So this was on AMC originally, and I think they aired the second season on AMC as well. The second season, completely separate from season 1. They made it into an anthology. Season 1 was based on this book. Season 2 was, I think, original material, or it was based on something else, but it took place in with World War II internment camps, I believe. George Takei played a part in it. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know that I will. I don't know. You guys tell me if you've watched season 2. Let me know if it's worth watching. But this is what I'm going to be talking about. Season 1 of The Terror. And as you can see, guys, this is no small book. So ultimately, this book ended up being 700 and... let's see here. 766 pages. So one of the lengthier Harry Potter tome situations, and it's not the biggest print, so it is definitely a read. And I've wanted to watch this show since it was announced. I think we did a trailer reaction for it back in the day when it was first announced, and I was intending to watch it, but I cut the cable cord before I got the chance. So this quarantine time finally allowed me the opportunity, and again, my YouTube TV app allowed me access to watch the show. Or actually, no, I think this is on Hulu. I think I watched this on Hulu. So, yeah, season 1 and 2 are on Hulu right now. So if you want to check it out, you can. But I was really interested. My mom actually read this book. I loaned it to her way back in the day when I picked it up. This book is from, it's from 2000 and, let's see here. I want to... just so you guys know when the book actually came out. Oh, that's a map. Come on. There we go. Book details. This book is from 2007. Okay. So this book came out in 2007, and it is about, it's about two ships that are basically going along as a part of a expedition in 1845, where they're trying to essentially find a passage through the Northern Sea and the Arctic Circle, no less, in order to try and get around the world a little bit easier. They're trying to find a passage through the ice. Unfortunately, when they do so, the Terror and its sister ship get frozen in. They are unable to proceed because everything freezes over just too quickly, and they end up getting stuck with their ships literally frozen in ice without being able to progress or move or anything for a number of years. I think about 3 years is what they ultimately were stuck out there. And they had provisions for that, but what they didn't account for was the sort of bunker mentality of 2 ships worth of men having to deal with each other for a number of years when they were meant to be together for less than a year. Not only that, but add to the fact that there is a horrific creature that is terrorizing them all. And while I never read the book and my mom never explained the creature to me, having watched the show, I now know what the creature is. It's basically a gigantic polar bear. It's about twice the size of your normal polar bear that you might see footage of. So it's a huge, huge creature. The weird thing about it is the polar bear has a very human-like face. So it's very disturbing in that sense. There's something off about it. You don't get a really good glimpse at it, of course, until the final episode. You see it a lot. You see it a lot, but it's in a lot of snow flurries and quick shots and stuff where you don't get a really good look at it until that last episode where you get a lot of good looks at it and stuff. And at that point I was like, oh, that's what it was. So the entire time they do a good job where it's like, there's something off about that thing, but I can't tell what it is. I can't tell what's wrong with it. So they play on that a little bit Jaws-like and stuff. So that was fun. But yeah, I mean, ultimately the story is just a big bunker tale. These guys are trying to find the passage through. They get frozen in, and they're stuck trying to walk to an island they know is there in order to try and get help. But you know, they send a party in like year one, and they don't end up returning. They think they're going to be coming back the next year, and so they send another party the next year just to hedge their bets. Turns out they find the remains of the first party because the big creature ended up getting to them. And it's also a little bit of a mystery. How does this creature relate to the native Eskimo people that they encounter in this Arctic region? So it's a really interesting setup. And while I'm glad there were 10 episodes for it, I'd be lying if I didn't say it felt a little slow at times. The show is it's paced slowly, right? I mean, it's a ship. They're trying to break a passage through the ice. It literally gets frozen in. The guys are moving slowly. They're trying to defend themselves against a killer creature, but it's meant to be slow. The pacing is slow. It matches what's happening on screen. It develops the story. We get a little bit of flashback to the wives and the people back home of these captains and officers and straight up, you know, regular sailors that are on these ships trying to make names for themselves by discovering this passage. And stuff just gets slowly and, you know, more and more slowly. Not more and more slowly. Slowly starts to degrade worse and worse. That's what I was trying to say. Things get worse and worse. Scurvy starts to set in. There's other issues where the supplies, the canned goods, the canned food, they start to find out is tainted because the manufacturer didn't seal them correctly. So a lot of the canned foods have gone off, and some of the guys decide to eat them anyway, which starts to make them a little bit crazy because they have no other food. They have no other game to hunt in the Arctic and stuff like that. They have no training on hunting seals or creatures like Eskimos might hunt. So they're literally having to turn on each other, and it gets aggressive. It gets to, if you've ever seen the movie from the 90s, I'm old enough to make this reference, Alive. There's a lot of similar things. There is cannibalistic situations in this, and one of them is really, really disturbing, and they don't shy away from practical effects on this. Of course, the creature is CG when the creature appears, but it looks good. And so, but largely it's practical makeup effects that all look good and gross, and like you just don't want. Every single person that comes across a malady in this movie, you look at and you go, oh my God, I really wouldn't want that to happen to me. Kind of like Chernobyl, right? Where you watch something and it's funny. There's a connective tissue there. But Fuego and I reviewed Chernobyl, and we were like, I would never want that to happen to me. I never want to be in and amongst people dealing with radiation. Of course, here in Arizona, we've got a nuclear power plant miles away from us, you know, so it's a little nutty. Nonetheless, this is a lot of that, where you look at the people that are affected by either scurvy or this other stuff that starts to pass around, and you're like, ugh, and then what it forces people to go to, and you see people literally deteriorate to nothing from hunger and starvation, and it's just, it's not your typical horror story. It's definitely more of a dramatic thriller with horror elements, but the entire situation could be considered horror if you are a person that is really fearful of being stuck with a group of other, like just nothing but dudes that are on a purpose but are at each other's throats and having to share supplies and rations, and are being hunted by a massive creature that is smart enough, guys. The creature, just so you know, is smart enough where it kills a number of people. It actually sneaks aboard the ship and kills people. And then when they at one point find a couple of bodies, what they find is they see someone leaned up against the rails looking out but not moving. And when they look, they push it over, and it's actually two people. It's the bottom half of someone and the top half of another guy that the creature has set up to look like it's a person, you know, on lookout. So it's a really intelligent creature, and they even look at they do an autopsy of these guys, and they're like, this wasn't a bunch of claws ripping through. This was one claw that was used to make two massive straight through the body cuts from two different people and then reassembled them. So it's really cool. Like, the creature bits are like the gold in and amongst all the typical melodrama of a story like this. But I still dug it. It's a little slow. It's 10 episodes, so it's not the 13. I just reviewed Blood Drive a minute ago, and that was 13 episodes. Too long. 10 episodes was still a little long. I think this would have been perfect at 8, maybe. But still, 10 isn't bad. And the connective tissue between this and Chernobyl is that the main actor from Chernobyl, the scientist that is working with the government and trying to figure everything out and ultimately pays the price for it, or self-pays the price for it. He's the lead actor in this, the same guy from Fringe and a number of other things that you'll recognize him. He's a character actor that everyone loves. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he plays one of the main captains, and he's one of the leads of the show, and he's fantastic. So I kind of did this review all out of order. My overall thoughts were I enjoyed the show. The story, I enjoyed how it progressed, although, again, a little slow for my taste at times, but I still was wrapped with attention. Sometimes when I'm watching shows, I'm tempted to play video games or surf the internet while watching. But this is the kind of period piece I can get behind, because it's not everyone in Victorian suits. Even though it was 1845, I didn't care because it was limited to just these dudes aboard the ships. Yes, we got some backstory and some touching on some people back on shore, but it doesn't bother me in this case. I become wrapped with attention, and especially when it's seafaring or ice and stuff like that. I don't know why, that's just, and especially creatures. You guys know me, I love creatures, so this checked a lot of boxes for intrigue for me. So if any of those check those boxes for you, give it a try. I think season 1 is definitely worth a watch. Again, the acting is solid throughout. The Blood Drive had some iffy people. This one does not have any iffy people. Every person from the extras all the way to the lead players acquitted themselves fantastically, and I bought in to the era, especially the first young guy that is dying of scurvy. I think it was scurvy. And oh my God, the acting in that scene when he's talking to the doctor, and you get endeared to this doctor so much, that plays a pivotal role through Dr. Goodson, I think is his name, or Goodsmith, something like that. He's a pivotal role through the series, and just this interaction that he has with this boy who knows he's dying and is scared, and he only has the doctor to converse with, and the doctor has to try and help this boy through this transition. And man, the acting is fantastic in the show, utterly fantastic. Again, if you have the patience for long form storytelling that's a bit slower, this is for you. This is definitely for you. This isn't, again, Breaking Bad could be considered that long form, slower storytelling that just pays off all the time. This doesn't pay off all the time, but it's got that same kind of pacing. But if you like the environment and the setting and the setup as much as I did, then it pays off for you. So again, acting's good, story's great, effects, the creature CG effects, there are good times and there are bad times. They hide the creature so much early on with snow flurries and storms and stuff like that, but the first big major creature attack where it literally chases a guy up, it's in the freezing snowstorm where the dude is literally losing bits of his skin trying to get away and accidentally touching metal, climbs up the mast of the ship, climbs out onto it, and the creature is just immediately behind him and swiping and going crazy. And it's just, there's a few really intense scenes, and I think there were enough to make the watch through worth it. So yeah, even though the effects are a little bit shoddy at times for the creature, if you stick through to the end, there's that last episode, there's that big kind of confrontation that you've been hoping for, and it's really neat how everything plays out, and it is surprisingly satisfactory. Again, considering it was on AMC, the same people that do The Walking Dead, so you know they can get gory if they want. But I think they get away with a lot more because of the zombie blood, the zombie stuff that's really nasty is black. And if your blood is black, you can get away with more on network TV than if your blood is red. So I don't know. Whatever it is, it was effective, and I definitely recommend The Terror right here. I actually did. I remember just at the very end of the review that I did buy the DVDs. So I've had the DVDs for a while. I think at Walmart last Black Friday, it was like $8 or $10. And I was like, oh, I never got around to that, and I have the book, and I've been wanting to watch it. I'm glad I have the DVDs, just in case it ever disappears from Hulu. I think that's a fair $10, $12 if you can get it at Walmart like I did. You know, definitely worth that for sure on DVD. Otherwise, just watch it on Hulu. Give it a try. It's worth your time. So that's going to do it, you guys. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe. Ding that notification bell if you want to make sure you don't miss other reviews like this going forward. Obviously, we still have one episode a day coming at you guys. We greatly appreciate your watching, and if you want to become a patron of our channel, meaning you can select movies for us to review or do commentaries for or other such things, the link to that is in the description box. Until next time, though, you guys, thank you very much for watching. I've been Cecil Laird, and remember, stay scared.